session, I would like to invite Mr. Saleh Batterjee for a quick word to the audience. And he asked to share a photo that I just sent to you, if you could put it on the screen. Mr. Saleh Batterjee, the floor is yours. Huh? Oh, take a picture, yeah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. This is really a good opportunity to welcome everybody here in participate in this function, because this is a future, and everybody looks to have something intelligent and peace for the country and for the family and for himself. This is only you can get that by the smart cities. Really, we are doing this kind of things, but not the one that we have seen. We're trying to make our project with the high technology, with the high security systems. But really what we have seen through these last 3 days, it was amazing. And really, it reflects that we have some people, they can design everything for better. For our group, alhamdulillah, available in so many countries all over the world. We have mega projects, we have good relations with officials, we have ability and capacity to do more and more. This is my honor to participate and to be as one of these people, one of the team who is going to have these smart cities all over the world. Really, it is my honor to work with people like that. They have vision, they have really open mentality, they have unlimited vision to build more and more, which make the lifestyle is more easier and to be more safer for everybody. Thank you for this opportunity for me, Mr. Munir, and thank you for Mr. John and Mr. Riyad. Really, this is the one that, inshallah, to be the start for more and more technology in all of our life. Thank you. Shukran jazilan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saleh Batterjee. We are honored with your presence, and we hope we will have cooperation opportunities in Saudi Arabia and elsewhere.
Sure.
Thank you. Let me call on stage our panelists for the next session, which is No Smart City Without Innovation, but this is the second part of it. We have Mr. Aleksandar Mastilovic, who is online, I guess. He's ICT, Smart City, cybersecurity expert from Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. So please check if he is connected. May I invite on stage Mr. Mohamed Karouia, CEO of Executive Digital Partners. He would talk to us about smart technologies for building peace cities. I hope Mrs. Katarina Galik is with us. She was here yesterday. I haven't seen her today. She is advisor to Findaso. So, Katarina, if you hear us, you are most welcome on stage. Otherwise, next opportunity. And I'm happy to invite on stage Mr. Carlos Diaz, Strategy and Development Director from Equinsa Parking. Is our friend Aleksandar online? He would be the first speaker, I guess.
Yes, I'm online.
Wow, nice to have you with us. In which continent are you?
I'm so sorry because I'm not there with you, but I hope I can deliver my message to the audience and the whole community of City world. I will want to send my greetings to all attendees and participants, and congratulations for amazing organization and for opportunity to bring this amazing topic to the table and to open the perspective of launching on massive scale smart cities around the world, making this world a better place for living for all of us. Thank you, Munir.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. In that case, I will share my presentation full screen, and I will stop. I will start talking. I will try to send my message as quick as possible, but also I don't want to skip anything what is critical for our audience. So I will not spend too much time. Actually, I'm involved in IEEE, in Institute of Electronic Engineers. Is the world's largest professional organization with more than 500,000 members in more than 170 countries around the world. It's about electronic engineers, and IEEE is famous for non-engineering people, mostly because some very famous standards like IEEE 802.11, Wi-Fi, etc. So we are actually working on the technical side of this story. And I'm also proud to say that I'm involved in WBF, World Business Angel Forum, as a member of Science Technology Innovation Committee, trying also to bring technology closer to business side of the story, because as you will see later in my slides, actually, that we need to collaborate very broadly with all potential stakeholders if we want to make this story successful. So I don't want, actually this slide, I always starting with this slide just because I want to underline that I don't want to look so smart guy here using some buzzwords, technical buzzwords. What is actually very common in many talks, we talk about smart cities, smart grids, augmented reality, 5G, cybersecurity, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and some non-technical people actually becomes a little bit scared. If we don't, if we can't actually explain properly all these terms, sometimes it's happened that we actually causing some conspiracy theories and something like that, what was very popular during the lockdown. But actually all these technologies, solutions, standards, whatever, actually are there to help us to resolve some challenges we have in our lives, to try to optimize our resources, to make some processes cost-effective and time efficient. And this is the main objective we want to discuss today, also in the context of smart city. So what's the meaning smart city? I would like also to underline some slight but important difference between smart, sustainable, and future city. All these three terms are very popular in some different contexts. Smart cities are most related to bringing ICT cutting-edge technologies closer to some applications in the urban environment. Also, when we go one step forward, we also need to leave ICT environment and to start discussing with urban planners and also with political decision makers to develop our cities in a much better and more optimal way. In the meaning, for example, of 15-minute cities that we can organize as small cities inside the big urban areas, and then also apply ICT technologies to optimize additional processes in the city. If we just want to bring technology to resolve all our problems without proper urban planning, in some meaning it's not possible, or at least we will not be so effective as we want. So when we say smart cities, we imagining the bunch of sensors. Sometimes we talk about billions of sensors tracking different processes, or for example, traffic processes, mobility, waste management, parking lots, different things around the cities, bringing this data on one place and trying to organize, segment, process this data using some advanced machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithms to find some additional knowledge we can use to help decision makers to make better planning, to develop additional infrastructure, or whatever we actually need to improve the quality of life for our citizens. So, of course, some additional materials and explanation about smart and sustainable cities. I always recommend to check United Nations Agenda 2030 and Goal 11 on sustainable cities and communities. And this is like a leading document globally, which help us actually to define our objectives with smart cities. So, what is important when we're discussing about smart cities, we need to consider at least 5 dimensions. I'm now talking about some proper methodology, how we can enter the process of smart cities, and then actually to identify the best technology we can use. Of course, for each process, including developing of smart cities, it is very important to have strategic planning before, to identify quick wins, because we need to promote all benefits coming from smart cities, and also to motivate people, especially investors and government, to give us money actually that we can make this happen. These 5 dimensions or 5 directions we need to discuss about. It's about infrastructure, it's about environment, public transportation or mobility, whatever you prefer as a terminology, city planning and development, and of course the metrics of quality of life for people. And quality of life is not just a term we are using without any sense. Actually, quality of life, and if you check, for example, United Nations Habitat Agency, there is very briefly developed methodology and metrics you can use to express quality of life with numbers in different aspects of quality of life. So let's identify leading primary objectives we want to do in smart city environment, that we can say that we are successful in that. First objective is resource usage optimization. I will just try to clarify this, let's say, sentences with few examples. For example, if we talk about services like waste management, especially in big cities, then there is a study which proves that if we have information about the level of garbage boxes in different locations in the cities, we can actually decrease to use 30% of garbage trucks to collect waste around the city. So we can make additional savings. We can also combine this service with some kind of gamification for citizens to motivate citizens to participate in the recyclation process, so we can recycle some materials and we can actually get some additional money that at the end of story, theoretically, we can make waste management service completely free for citizens. At one side of the story, for another side of the story, we can also push circular economy and many other primary or secondary benefits coming from this activity. Also, we can help decision makers, local city governments, to make data-driven city planning for the future, talking about infrastructure, services, and maintenance. And there is also some studies proving that we can cut all total costs for all these city planning activities for the half if we have proper information in real time, especially using different kind of sensors. Also, we can talk about time efficiency, and there is a great vision of 50-minute cities. 50-minute cities is one urban planning concept. It's not related to ICT, but actually is the vision to develop cities in the way that you have actually the small parts of cities acting as a small city inside the city. So within 50 minutes walking, you can actually find schools, hospitals, shopping malls, whatever you need actually to decrease necessity that you have to travel to another part of the city except some specific reason. Also, as I said already in the bullet 2, cost effectiveness is something what is our primary objective. And of course, there is some, let's say, secondary benefits we can collect. If we have data, we can open data. We can create open data portals for the city, provide the data to citizens, but also to startups and companies. They can actually launch some specific application services helping us to process this data to find additional knowledge for us. And in that meaning, actually, we are talking about high level of transparency and democratization in the city management process, which would not be limited only to city administration, but also can, in much effective way, bring citizens to the process. I also want to underline one important thing. It's demystifying the meaning of smart, because of marketing reasons, you can read many articles or promotions or conferences talking about smart whatever, smart people, smart cities, smart grid, smart cars. But I just want to underline one key difference, what actually makes something smart compared to conventional applications. For example, robotization is not pure robotization is not smart just because actually we can program robot to do some operation automatically without human intervention. But it doesn't mean that the robot can think, decide, or change the operation. For example, if you have a factory for vehicles, you can actually program robot to take a vehicle from point A to point B, but robot will do that operations every 30 or 60 seconds, depending what we programmed. In case that you have obstacle from point A to point B, robot will not stop doing that action because robot is programmed to do that repetitive action every 60 seconds. If we have some, of course, in new generation of robotization, you have smart robots with some additional sensors. And in case, for example, that some human is in the path from point A to point B, robot will stop operation for safety reasons. For example, this is just one picture that you can understand better what is behind the meaning of smart. So you are doing something, and if you have data-driven decision-making or reaction or in real time, depending how the situation is changed, we can start talking about smart. As you can see, actually everything is about data. It's not about sensors. It's not about 5G or telecommunication infrastructure. Yes, of course, both of them are important to collect and transmit data from point of collection to data centers where we can process the data. But the end of story, the real smart laying in the big data at the data centers, and of course, advanced mathematical algorithms, publicly known as machine learning and artificial intelligence, which actually looking for some additional knowledges or correlation, cross-correlation or causality between some different events or different values of different parameters. So whatever we want to do, including smart cities, we need to consider three different levels or layers of thinking about, and all these three layers are critical, and if we miss success in any of these three layers, actually we cannot finalize our project successfully. The first layer is technical, second layer is operational, and the third layer is political, or the layer of decision making. So technical layer is about technology, what I will try to talk mostly today. And we already have technologies. We have already sensors. We can sense whatever we want, actually, from the air quality to count the passengers in public transportation. 5G is also globally already launched, so we have the proper telecommunications, wireless technology that we can collect information from each sensor and to bring this to data centers. And also we have data centers, we have huge fields of servers with huge capacities for processing and storing the data. And from technical perspective, let's say we are ready. So where we stuck and why smart cities are not so, there is not too many real large-scale launching around the world. It's mostly about operational levels and, of course, political levels. So I will now just give you few examples for broader pictures. So technical side, as I said, it's about AI, machine deep learning, advanced mathematical algorithms, hardware and software we are using for smart city launching. So when we talk about technology, it's about this triangle I always want to underline. So Internet of Things is the massive sensor deployment for different purposes. We can, for example, have smart metering for electrical energy consumption, for heating energy consumption, for different things. 5G is already there, and big data, as I said, it's a specific data centers equipped with some processing mechanisms and algorithms like artificial intelligence and machine learning. So, as I said, smart is always about data, and I want just to remind all of us on that. So I will not now lose my time talking about all possible examples, but of course, it's not only about smart cities. We can talk about smart agriculture, tracking, whatever actually you want, etc., etc. So I will just try to skip this technical part that we can save time, and to skip the operational part, because this is the first point actually we really stacked. Operational point is also about the business models. We need to convince decision makers that we are making smart cities not only because it's cool in 21st century to bring advanced technologies in the cities. It's also about the business side of story, that we can save a lot of money and time, and we can actually calculate the pure return of investment. If one city decides to launch large-scale smart city, return of investment, depending on services we convert from conventional to smart side, can be between 1 to 7 years. It becomes even shorter right now in this economical situation of crisis, globally more or less. We have some kind of recession. So, for example, across the Europe, we are facing a challenge about increasing prices for energy. And I will just remind you that before 2 years, 1 megawatt hour of electrical energy on stocks for trading energy, it was like about 60 euros. Today, it's like 500 to even 1,000 at some point before few months. With this high prices for energy, if we can save energy, actually the period of time necessary for return of investment becomes shorter and shorter. In some cases, maybe just only one year. I will now share one experience. This is one European Union funded project I launched before 6-7 years in Bosnia, in Eastern Europe. Actually, we launched the local pilot project in East Sarajevo city about the smart public lights. Actually, try to save to save the energy spending, considering the fact that actually there is not too many vehicles or pedestrians during the night. There is no any sense to keep public lights 100% power. So we have iterationally we decrease the power to 20% just to keep enough light for safety and security reasons, but also to optimize the number of transitions from different power energy, because each transition of energy affecting the bulbs of public lights, decreasing the lifetime of these bulbs. So with this basic problem, I developed actually the artificial intelligence-based algorithm to optimize this process. Actually, and I will just keep, this is like some basic default stage for winter mode, and of course summer working mode, depending the duration of daylight during the day. But what is the critical? The critical after 6 months of working and training this artificial intelligence system, and completely automatize the levels of power for each individual bulb, we save 46% of electrical energy at the location. It's a small-scale project. It's just pilot funded by the European Union program for collaboration, funded by Committee of Regions. And actually, this is the proof of concept what we can do. If we do this on large-scale city, as a large-scale city project, in that case, if we have, for example, like 3 million or 5 million euro payments for electrical energy for public lights at the level annually, actually, in that case, if you save for 50%, you can calculate very easily the time necessary to return of investment if you invest some amount of money for establishing this smart component in public lights. I'm just talking about one project I participate and I designed, but also we can also discuss about the similar business model for waste management system, for public transportation, etc., etc. So I think that actually we need to develop these business models to bring these business models to convince decision maker to step in this process of course, smart cities. This is the dashboard of the system. I will just, besides the percentage of saving energy, we can also let's say, exchange, like a currency exchange from electrical energy to environment effects. So you can see that in this case, after 6 months of operation of this system, we saved 816 kilograms of CO2 emission compared to the amount of energy actually we saved. So we also have these environment effects, what is very, very important in developing smart cities. So this is just some additional slides from the system. You can see GPS location of every single bulbs. You can get real-time information if any of bulbs is not working or we have any problem, or actually you can get reminder after the life cycle of the bulb is done, so you can plan maintenance, repairs, etc., etc. So when we have a clearly developed operational level, we can step to politicians, actually to local administration, to convince mayor and decision makers in the city management to step in this process. And of course, we can take some important information combined with developed business models, reminding them actually to align their strategies of development for local level with national, European, international documents. For example, the worldwide famous document is Agenda 2030 of United Nations, and I will just remind you the goal 11, it's about sustainable cities and communities, and you can find actually to source for any policy, any strategy, any action plan, national government or local government should adopt and make it happen as soon as possible. So this is something what is very, very important, and let's say something what's happening around the world right now. So what is the main objective of the goal 11 is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, sustainable, and of course for each of these objectives listed here, we can find proper technology to engage to help us to achieve these objectives. Also, I will just remind especially European people that Horizon 2020 is funded by European Commission for research and development for different kind of programs, and they are asking strong collaboration between government, industry, academia, and civil society. It's about Open Innovation 2.0 model or quadruple helix, asking that all four groups of stakeholders must be involved in each project because only in that way we have a chance to make the projects really happen and skip from pilot into production large scale application. I will just remind you about some legislation and standards which should be considered also in political level. It's about network and information security. Directive number 2 is adopted in before the end of 2022 in December, just maybe a few weeks ago. It's about cybersecurity. It's really, really important to protect cybersecurity and privacy for our citizens, because privacy and cybersecurity is about the trust. If we want to skip potential conspiracy theories, if we want to decrease the fear of people that they would be tracked or that technology could be misused for some illegal purposes, we need really to build trust of broader community, that actually community accept and start using these technological benefits. Also, we are talking about GDPR, European Union, Artificial Intelligence Act, Cybersecurity Acts, Data Acts, but I'm talking mostly about the European Union legislation, but all these acts in some different versions, very similar, based on similar principles, are actually adopted in the United States and across the world. So also for some technical standards, you can check on IEEE, ITU as one of leading United Nations agency, SEP3, GPP, ENISA, OSCE, and many other international organizations taking care about technical and technology standards that we can actually establish a great platform for interoperability to avoid to be dependent on one or just a few different vendors for different hardware and software. So also some European policies legislation. I will just remind that the European Commission established European Innovation Partnership on Smart Cities and Communities program, and you can check on potential fundings and potential collaborators there, because many companies, many governments are already in this let's say working group. So cohesion policy is also something what is interesting for European projects on smart cities, because cohesion policy actually supporting less developed regions to become more competitive in the environment of European Union. So smart cities are very aligned with this objective defined by European cohesion policy. What we need to discuss to create a project business plan that we can help decision makers to support us. We need to discuss about CAPEX, or cost of initial investments. OPEX, it's an annual cost of running and maintenance, and of course to confrontate OPEX to savings we made. Of course, we should consider somehow time efficiency, because time is always possible to convert into money. So it's not only the money directly savings, but we have a lot of secondary effects on quality of life and different kinds of savings. Demand and priority estimation, revenue saving estimation, and of course MPV, discussing about return of investment, which is usually between 1 to 7 years. Let's be a little bit more optimistic. Even much better right now, what is actually causing by increasing of cost of lives globally. So for the end, I try to save the time for my colleagues in the panel. I will just remind you that we have to be brave to step in the process of creation of smart cities, because otherwise we need to take some risks. And life, of course, begins at the end of your comfort zone or our comfort zone. So even if you don't have too many proof of concept for smart cities, we have enough knowledge, we have technology, so we should check what's going after our comfort zone. When I say comfort zone, I'm thinking about the way we are living. It's completely normal, for example, in the Balkan, that we are waiting for bus transportation for 10, 20 minutes late bus on the bus station. But actually, if you accumulate the time we lost during the one day in average, actually we are losing money, we are losing quality of life. Actually, we are losing time we can spend with our families and our friends, what should be considered for quality of life in 21st century. Of course, I will also remind you on one quote from Bruce Schneider, the leading global cybersecurity expert. Bruce Schneider always said that technology cannot, if you think that technology can solve all our problems and challenges we are facing today, then in that case, we don't understand the problems we are facing, and we don't understand technology we have in our hands. So technology is just a tool in our hands. We're using this tool to resolve problems, but actually all decisions, everything what will happen in the future depending only on us. So it's about decision making, our knowledge, and our dedication to make this world a better place for living. Munir, thank you for time. This is the slides. And of course, I'm open for additional questions now or after the session from audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aleksandar. That was impressive. I have one quick question, not to get you out of your comfort zone, basically to make sure I understand one of your messages. You were talking about 351 billion euro reserved for smart cities in Europe in the coming years?
Yes.
Where are they?
I'm not sure. We need to check that in Brussels. But in some plans, actually, because many different projects of European Commission, like Horizon 2020, like a green agenda, like different things, when you combine the amounts of money from different projects and identify the smart city components in these projects, actually, the total money allocated, maybe not on the one place, but in different programs, it's about 350 billion euros. I think until 2030, I'm not sure, I have to check, but for, let's say, for next decade. So it's a large-scale launching of the concept of smart cities, and I hope that many of us will be part of that initiative in coming years.
Thank you very much, Aleksandar. If you are most welcome if you want to keep with us until the Q&A session at the end of the session. May I invite Mr. Mohamed Karouia from EDP to share with us his vision of smart cities.
Thanks a lot. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm going to share with you some findings and some feedbacks of our experiences in our company of consulting in smart technologies and digital transformation, which is Executive Digital Partners. First, I'm Mohamed Karouia, engineer and PhD in artificial intelligence, and I have executive master in digital humanities. Digital humanities, it's a key word here. I was a chief information officer of a French public company, which is Société de Grand Paris, charged by building the most important project, infrastructure project, and metro network. It's about 200 kilometers. And now I'm founder and managing partner of the company EDP. So I'm going to start this presentation, but I wanted to thank the last speaker. If you think that technology can solve the problems, you don't understand the problem. That's right. And what I wanted to share with you, smart technologies for building peace cities. I wanted to say that maybe there's three pillar concepts in this sentence: smart technologies, peace, and city, or city building and management. But maybe the starting point is cities. Cities in the whole understanding, cities with a human being, with citizens, with environment, the relationship between them, and with the whole understanding of the concept of cities. So now all the challenge, all the issue is how to find the balance and the relationship between the use of smart technologies, peace, to create a city and with healthy and wealthy situation and environment. And this is what I'm going to share with you. Of course, it's experience, feedbacks. It's not force. Laws. So start by the first relationship. What's the relationship between peace and city? Why we need peace to create a healthy and wealthy city, and what kind of peace? This is what I'm going to share with you. But maybe before speaking or answer to these questions, maybe take a look about what humanity is facing now. Humanity today faces great issues as never before. Issues, along these 4 days, all the speakers gave some examples for this kind of issues. Scarcity of resources, climate change, energy transition, immigration, and so on. And if you take a couple of seconds to think about these issues, the main one thing in common between all these issues is that they are global. They are cross boundaries. And if we want to find solutions for this and to tackle these issues, we have to have a real cooperation between operators, between actors, between cities, between countries. But cooperation needs trust between all these actors, needs peace. And this is at least one condition why you have peace before thinking to build a peace city. So, in general, when we speak about peace, specialists speak about two kinds of peace. negative peace, you use violence to stop violence. You use power to create the peace. This is a solution, but it's not enough to create an environment of peaceful and healthy and wealthy cities. So the second kind of peace is peace obtained by attitude, by institutions, governance, and organization. And this kind of peace create a sustained, peaceful society, peaceful cities. And this kind of peace, the positive peace, is a transformation process. For this reason, thinking about peace cities just about technology, it's failure. Peace is necessary, and we have to have positive peace, and positive peace is a process. You need transformation. You need change management. It's a key. And all the serious studies confirm that positive peace leads to many outputs. You can see several here. This is a report of Rotary Club, IAP Institute. And the most peaceful countries, cities, communities, societies in the world perform strongly when they apply, or they find the environment of positive peace. And they perform strongly in all these pillars. So we saw the first nexus between peace and city. So how peace can help to build and manage cities. Now the second point, how smart technologies, how digital can help to create peace and then to create and to manage cities. And this is the second point. First of all, I wanted to begin by the origin of the word smart. As you can see, smart, at the beginning, is not smart, or wasn't smart. Because smart, at the beginning, was just an acronym, and not smart at intelligence, clever. And smart was to mean all technical objects, which are self-acting. But the use of these objects and this technical object, there's a shift to the notion of intelligence. Anyway, the objects are here, and we are going now to see in which manner, how these objects can help us, can enable the creation of peaceful environment. And all the issue is not to fall in what I call the technical optimism. We have to be realistic. In our feedback, in our experience at Executive Digital Partners, we can argue that smart technologies, of course, help and help the creation of peaceful environment. Two examples. The first one, smart technologies are used to manage what I call nominal situation in the life of the city. E-government services, agriculture management, we saw an example this morning, traffic management, health services, and so on. But intelligent or smart technologies can help us to manage crisis situation and emergency situation. Two examples, what we can share. With the crisis of COVID-19, of course, smart technologies make the situation allowed us to be more resilient and allowed life to continue. A second example is more near. At the beginning of the Ukrainian war, smart technologies allowed to organize help for people and to connect people. But on the other hand, when you use smart technologies like digital, of course you create and you reinforce certain vulnerabilities. Every day you hear about cybersecurity, cyber attack, cyber criminalities, and so on. But also there's other risk. There are other risks like the risks about social media and social networks, and the risk of the integrity of the mental integrity of our youth. Other risks about the continuity of the economy. So we have to be realistic in the use of technology. And all these issues, we have to take them by design. I mean, we have to think about these issues at the beginning of the project and all the projects, transformation projects like smart cities. So our conviction at EDP, Executive Digital Partners, we have the conviction that smart technologies, peace, are important pillar for the city building, for the city management. But we have, which is important, is to take the three pillars by design at the beginning of the conception and design of the project. For this reason, we think that we have to develop now a new paradigm to design like some projects like that. And in all our experiences, all the challenge or the issue that we faced is to be in the balance, in the intersections, and to take in consideration the three pillars. We serve the city, human being, environment, and interaction. We use the technology. We are conscious that technology introduces risks. So how to mitigate the risks, how to create peaceful environment to serve the city. And this is really one of the main findings that we found and we applied in all the transformation project. In the couple of seconds that are remaining, I wanted just to say that if we make the relation with the SDG of the 2030 goals of United Nations, technology and smart technology can serve the center of this, which is the 16th goal. And when you serve the 16th goal, which is justice and peace, you can obtain and you can serve other, at least 7 other objectives of 2030 goals of United Nations. Thank you for your attention, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Mohamed. And now I would invite to the desk Mr. Carlos Diaz Gutierrez from Equinsa Parking.
Gracias. Thank you so much for inviting Equinsa Parking. Thank you so much for coming to this Congress and this beautiful city. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world, with a lot of culture, with a lot of good monuments, and I think it's a good opportunity to invest in a good place in this world, okay? We are going to talk about car parks. My name is Carlos Diaz, as Mr. Munir told. I represent Equinsa Parking. Equinsa Parking has more than 35 years of experience in the mobility sector and in the car park sector. we develop a system for that's supposed to have cities with more peace. Talking about peace, about mobility. The people need to park. The people need to go to the cities and to have the possibility to park their car. All of us, I think, have a car. All of us want to park our car. And we know how it's difficult to park the car in the cities. We make pollution, we make noise, and we make that something, and in some situations, we have a lot of problems with have a calm city, a city with a lot of peace, okay? And well, good morning, Salamanca. I'm going to start with a question. Why is important a car park? Why is important? I think it's a good question. We talk about cities, we talk about mobilities, and good ideas here with the people that come to present their ideas. And the car park supposes that the people has a need. They have a need. They need to park their vehicle. When you go, I always say the same expression. When you look a car in the center of the city, the car is going to park. Nobody go with their car to the center of the city to take around to the city or similar. No, they need to park. They need to park in 5 minutes, in 10, in 20 minutes. Okay? If the car takes a lot of time to park, the car is going to pollute a lot in the city. Well, the people need to park. They desire to park. They desire to park, obviously. Okay? They want to park very safety. If I have a car, I want to park in a good place. In a good place, and be sure that my car is going to be in the same position, in the same situation when I take before my meeting or my lunch or similar. And a word that is obviously obvious is that all of us need to park in the same position in the city, in the center. In the center. All the people, the most important monuments in Salamanca are in the center. The most important monuments in Paris are in the center. And all the people want to go in the center. And there is a problem. And well, if you add 1 plus 2, 3, 4, that suppose that everyone generally wants to park in the same areas. And we have a problem. We have a problem to solve. We have to create new cities, new conception of cities that understand that the car park is necessary. And we talk about, in other slides, that we will develop several situations and several integrating the system, integrating the software that's supposed to have more peace cities. Well, a little history. I think it's necessary to understand the car park market in the world, not in all the countries, but I think this model applies to the most important cities. Mainly in Europe, that we have a lot of history with the squares. You look at the first picture, you can see the squares. The people park horses. The people make conventions like this convention 3 centuries ago. And they need to park where? In the center of the city. The center of the city. They suppose that all the people take their horses, okay, to the center of the city. After 2 or 3 centuries, then the car appears. The car appears in the last century, and if you have a car, when the car appears, you say, well, if I have a car, I have mobility. I'm one of the ones that have a car. You are, look, man or woman, okay? And I want to park my car in the center of the city again. Where? In the square. Like Madrid, in the picture, or Salamanca. Most beautiful picture than the square in Madrid. And the car appears, and the engineers need to develop a network of car parks. They think about, if we don't build car parks in the 50s of the last century, we will have a problem nowadays. Intelligent people. And then the new trends the last decade and this decade, all the governments, all the council think about we need to recover the squares for the pedestrian people, for the people, not for the cars. And as you know, the biggest car parks are underground. They are off-street car parks. Well, the last decade, this decade was very important. It was very important because suppose that we evolve in these 10 years more than in the 60 years before. More in the 60 years before. We understand to conceive the car park like a mobility hub into the concept of smart cities. The car parks become a mobility hub. It's a fundamental piece of mobility in the cities. People think about that. The car park is not an ugly space in the city or the center, in the city center with a bad light. Not. The car park becomes more beautiful spaces with good floors, with good expressions of the architects, the engineers that developed good car parks in the last decade, and the products that the user needs to go to a city center become more, with a more variety, more flexible. And let's suppose that the digital platforms erupt, and they say, well, you have the car park, you have the user, but appears the digital trends, and the user needs to book a car park. For instance, today in Salamanca from Paris, tomorrow maybe I need one in New York, or the next month, if I go to in my holidays, I need one car park for 15 days, in Rome, okay? And all the system of the car park needs to be integrated to make possible that this kind of uses will be. Well, we need to talk about adaptation. I think it's a good expression. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. Well, nowadays, we start the 20s with mask, okay? We start with mask. We solve worldwide the situation with the COVID, but the COVID means that if we talk about that we evolved more in the last 10 years than the other 60s, we evolved more in the last 2 years than in the last 10. In the last 10. Why? Because all the people needs to be digitalized. All the people need to do something with the smartphone, with the computer, in all the markets. In all the markets. The cities need to have and share several information. We start to hear about low emission zones. Low emission zones. It's a good concept. We don't want pollution, we don't want noise, and we don't want traffic jams in the cities. And the parking becomes the good friend of the mobility. It's the good friend of the mobility because the car park is supposed to organize the mobility in the biggest cities worldwide. And we developed this concept. This concept is EP Cloud. EP Cloud is that we are, as I have told, one of the most biggest companies in the sector for develop system for the car parks, and we become digitals. We start to think about if we don't become digitals, we can't solve the problem with the councils, with the governments, and mainly with the citizens of the cities. We need to analyze the future. And we develop AP Cloud that's supposed to integrate apps, to integrate web services, to integrate controlling, and all the things that you can see in the slide, as the electrical vehicle or system with loyalty, car sharing, etc. The connected car park suppose that in the future, in the short future, we will need to pay with more than 10 different methods of payment. Okay? The user will be very important because the user becomes the protagonist. All the situation that happens in the parking will be connected, all the situations. And the data, as my colleague told before in other presentation, the data is very important because the data will be the most important thing to the decision making. If I have the data, I have the knowledge. If I have the knowledge, I have the solution. Okay? And well, Eginsa Parking is in this model of transition. 4 skills for the P-City, the system in the car parks, because the car park is infrastructure. It has no intelligence. The intelligence of the car park becomes by the system of the car park. The system will be integrated with all the situation that happens in the city. It needs to be flexible. We integrate, it's the brain of the car park. We need to connect the car park with the city. What happens in this car park? What happens in this other? What happens in all the car parks in the city? We give the information to the council. We need to have an active management. The financial controller, the general manager, the mayor on the council need to know what happens in the city. And the system, as I have told, needs to interact with all the protagonists in the city and in the country. Well, this is I think the photo, the picture of the P-City car parks efficiency. We need to have car parks that suppose less pollution in the city because if I park very quick, I don't pollute, okay? Without tickets, with electric charging points, like in Spain, you need to have 1 charging point each 40 spaces in the car parks. We need to have integrated guidance system. How many spaces I will have in this car park? If I don't know if I will find 1 space, maybe I take around in the city about 10 kilometers more to find another one that has this possibility to park. And obviously, we need to centralize the car parks. Today, all the main managers in the car park sector integrate a lot of car parks in the same central control room. Well, talking about evolution, I have 15 seconds, and I will give the time. Talking about evolution, a video. This video exposes, okay, and suppose the transformation of Eginsa Parking in the sector. Enjoy it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Shukran. Have a nice day in Salamanca. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Highly appreciated. Yeah, now we are moving to smart cities projects and opportunities in Asia. So thank you for your contribution.